Chapter 1. The Last Pot of Rice. Norpur Malanchi, a village in Bagadipara, Nadir district. The year was 1943. In 1944, Bengal was still suffering from the devastating effects of the Great Bengal Famine of 1943. During World War II, this largely man-made famine claimed the lives of an estimated 2.1 to 3 million people through starvation, malaria, and malnutrition. It was the end of spring. The morning sun had not yet climbed fully overhead. The crops surrounding the village swayed gently in the breeze. Birds flew through gaps in the bamboo groves in the distance. At the pond ghat, several women had come to fill their water pitchers. Some were stepping down to collect water, while others were returning home with full pitchers balanced on their hips. Everything seemed normal. But the people did not yet know that one of the worst humanitarian disasters in Bengal's history was slowly moving toward them. 12-year-old Rahim had woken up very early that morning. His father, Abdul Karim, was getting ready to head to the fields. Wearing worn-out clothes and carrying his farming tools, he prepared for another day of work. Rahim ran over and said, "Father, I'm going to the fields with you today." Karim smiled and placed a hand on his son's head. "Why are you up so early?" "Because I'm grown up now." "You're grown up, then can you handle a hoe?" Rahim nodded proudly. His father laughed. It was the laughter of an ordinary day. The kind of laughter people share when they know nothing about the horrors waiting in their future. Inside the house, Amina Begum was taking a pot of rice off the stove. Smoke rose from the clay oven. The smell of cooking rice woke Rahim's little sister, Hasana. "Mother, is the rice ready?" "Yes." "Do we have fish?" Amina paused for a moment. "We have lentils today." Hasana's face fell. Things had not always been like this. The family had never been wealthy, but they had not been poor either. Karim owned no land of his own, but he worked as a sharecropper and managed to support his family. They bought new clothes twice a year. Sweet sama was cooked during Eid, and every so often they could afford fish. But over the last few months, everything had begun to change. The price of rice had risen, and with it, the price of almost everything else. It had risen so much that people at the village tea stall talked of little else. That afternoon, Karim went to the market. Rahim went with him. As soon as they arrived, they sensed something strange. The people were restless. Worry showed on many faces. A crowd had gathered in front of the rice shop. An elderly man was saying, "How are we supposed to eat if prices keep rising like this?" The shopkeeper shrugged. "What can I do? I'm buying it at a higher price too." Another man shouted, "They're hoarding it. The rich are filling their warehouses." The air grew heavy with tension. Karim stood silently. A few coins rested in his hand. Money that once could have bought enough rice for an entire week would now last only a few days. On the walk home, he did not say a single word. Rahim could tell that something was wrong. That night, during dinner, Amina asked, "Were you able to buy rice?" "I bought some," Karim replied. "How long will it last?" Silence. Then he whispered, "Not very long." It felt as if a chill had suddenly settled inside the house. For the first time, Rahim saw fear on his mother's face. It was a silent fear, but unmistakably clear. The following week, conditions in the village grew worse. Every day brought new reports. Some places had no rice. In others, prices had doubled. Some families were selling their cattle. Others were selling their land. One day, Rahim saw their neighbor, Kashim Ali, selling his only cow. The cow was the family's most valuable possession. Kashim's young son was crying. "Father, why are they taking our cow?" Kashim could not answer. He simply turned his face away. A few days later, people learned that he had sold the animal to buy rice. But even that rice did not last long. Slowly, the people of the village began to change. The evening gatherings in courtyards disappeared. The conversations about weddings and celebrations vanished. Now people talked only about food. One word dominated every discussion. Rice. Rice. And more rice. One night, Rahim woke from his sleep and heard his parents talking. Quietly, in hushed voices. "How much do we have left?" Amina asked. "Not much." "Then what will we do?" "I don't know." "What will happen to the children?" Karim gave no answer. For a long time. Then only a sigh escaped him. Rahim never forgot the sound of that sigh. Because it was the first time he realized. Adults do not have solutions to every problem. Some hardships are so great that even fathers become helpless before them. As summer began, a new sight appeared on the village roads. Strangers. Hungry. Skeletal. They had come from distant villages. Some were searching for food. Some for work. Some were simply trying to stay alive. One afternoon, an elderly man stopped in front of their house. His eyes were sunken. His body trembled. He spoke weakly. "Could I have a little rice?" Amina stood silently for a moment. There was very little food left in the house. They themselves were struggling. Yet she went inside and brought him a handful of rice. The old man ate as if he had not seen food in days. Rahim watched in stunned silence. He had never seen anyone eat like that before. That night he asked his mother, "How does a person become that hungry?" Amina could not answer. She simply pulled her son close and held him. The days passed. And with each passing day, the food supply shrank. Less rice in the pot. Watery lentils. Almost no vegetables. One day, Rahim noticed that his mother had not sat down to eat. "Aren't you going to eat?" Amina smiled. "I'll eat later." But she did not eat later. Not the next day either. Nor the day after that. Mothers can often hide their hunger. But they cannot hide it from their children forever. Rahim began to understand. His mother was giving her share of food to them. That night, he could not sleep. Crickets chirped outside. Dogs barked in the distance. The house was silent. Then his eyes drifted toward the kitchen. His mother was sitting alone, beside an empty cooking pot. Quietly, in the darkness. It looked as though she was crying. Rahim could not be sure. But the image left a deep scar on his heart. Because he was beginning to understand. Hunger is not only pain in the stomach. Hunger steals laughter. It steals sleep. It steals dreams. And little by little, it steals a person's sense of security and dignity. Rahim still did not know. This was only the beginning. The darkness gathering over Bengal would grow deeper. And very soon, his own family would begin sinking into it as well. To be continued, Chapter 2.